your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
T-O-double-D, what's cracking?
I need your help, Snoop. I'm really sick, and I can't give out free chicken fingers on National Chicken Finger Day.
I got you. Yo, happy National Chicken Finger Day, homies and homegirls. Get you a free chicken finger with your Raising Cane's box combo on $7.27, you heard? Make it a perfect combo with a copy of my latest album, Is It a Crime? Streaming now. Happy National Chicken Finger Day to all, and to all a good bite.
Get one free chicken finger in each box combo. Purchase July 27th, 2025.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Harrison Arns, as always, on the ones and twos. It is not 6 o'clock, though. 5 p.m. Old School. I am not Jay. I am not Austin. And that is not Jay. And that is not Austin. Harrison Arns, Tristan Gomez taking over for one more hour. And then we'll get to our regular programming, 6 p.m. Ticket weeknights. And it'll be me and Tristan again for another hour. So plenty of stuff left here to talk about. Obviously, with all the media days, the big one being Las Vegas, Big Ten media days. Plenty of stuff to talk about, and you guys can always join in 402-464-5685, Facebook, YouTube, X, Owl Channel 961. All great ways to put a face to the voice. With that being said, before we go anywhere, Tristan, I'll ask you, how's it going on a Thursday here in Lincoln, Nebraska?
Doing really well. Big Ten Media Days has shown up and showed out. It's been cool to hear from all these coaches, and it's not too bad of a day. A little muggy here in Lincoln, Nebraska, but it's pretty solid.
How do you feel about Big Ten Media Days being in Vegas as opposed to Indianapolis? Do you like the move to Vegas?
I'll be honest, I don't love it. I mean, I think there would be maybe a little bit more media and maybe a little bit more traction for the Big Ten as it was in Indianapolis. I know it's tough for, those West Coast schools, but I mean, that's kind of something that they kind of knew going into this, that they were going to have to fly across the country quite a bit regarding Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA. So I feel like we really just catered to those schools. And now it's like these OG Big Ten schools are like, all right, I guess we got to go all the way over to Vegas now. I preferred Indianapolis, and I think Indianapolis with the, just last year, the championship being there and everything at Lucas Oil, I think that's the place it needs to be.
I liked it out there as well.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that's just bias. Mm-hmm. I say it all the time. I'm romantic when it comes to tradition. It just felt like that was the perfect home.
Yeah.
For that to be. Otherwise, like maybe Chicago, you could play like just somewhere that makes sense for the Big Ten, but I get it. Definitely felt like they catered, but it was just interesting. You get PJ Fleck. Thank you, Big Ten, for being in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And then you get people like Matt Rule who are like, I don't really like this. In Indianapolis, it was like you felt like the Big Ten was heavily represented. There was history there. They had all. In Vegas, it was like you're just another thing going on in a big city. And Indianapolis felt like this was the thing. Big Ten Media Days, college football, and again, you're kind of in that heart of those Big Ten schools. So it's not the end of the world to me, but I did find it interesting. Like you had half of the coaches love it and the other half saying this sucks. Mm-hmm. Or, they said it in a much nicer way, of course, but they weren't super thrilled about it being in Vegas. And they actually preferred Indianapolis. James Franklin, I believe he was one of those that liked it in Indianapolis as well. He doesn't say it in this, I don't believe, but nonetheless, we do get more Big Ten speeches. This one at the opening at the podium. So only about 5 minutes. We'll play this one again. This is James Franklin of the Nittany Lions. We'll play that for you guys. Me and Tristan will break it down after.
Good afternoon. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you. I'd like to start out by recognizing our commissioner, Tony Petitti, for his leadership and guidance as college football continues to evolve. He's done a phenomenal job, and proud to be associated with him. I'm grateful for the alignment we have at Penn State with our president, Neely Bendapudi. Has been phenomenal, and our athletic director, Pat Kraft. We're entering year 4 together. Year 4 together with Pat and Neely, and that leadership has been critical. This is, I think, the third president and third AD I've had. So that relationship has been critical, and their leadership has been phenomenal. I'd like to thank the media for all your work, help elevating our game, Penn State football, and for telling the stories of our great student athletes. Fortunate today to bring 3 of our student athletes in that we're very, very proud of. Drew Allar, senior starting quarterback, 3rd straight year as a starter, is on track to graduate this fall. Since 1956, he is one of 2 FBS quarterbacks with 800-plus completions, 50-plus touchdowns, and 10 or less interceptions. Done a phenomenal job of protecting the football in terms of touchdown to interception ratio, and we expect that to continue this year. Nick Dawkins, a 6-year senior who won the 2024 Warfel Trophy, continues to lead on and off the field, already has 2 degrees and is in position to get a 3rd graduate degree. this season. And then Zachy Wheatley, a fifth-year senior, is also set to graduate this fall. He's had his hand in 9 takeaways in his career. He's a ball magnet. The ball loves Zachy, and we think he's going to have a phenomenal year for us this year. Excited about the additions that we've made to our staff this season with Jim Knowles and Stan Drayton, 2 veteran coaches with head coach and championship level experience. This is the best combined personnel that I think we've had at Penn State. And when I talk about personnel, I'm talking about players and staff from a depth, from a talent standpoint, and from an experience standpoint. So we're very excited about that. Talking about our staff in a little bit more details, pretty unique and something that we're very proud of. We have 19 former Penn State football players, lettermen on our staff, working in a variety of roles that are doing a phenomenal job for us. When it comes to player development, we expect to have anywhere between 10 and 12 guys drafted this year. We've averaged over 5 draft picks per year in my 12 years at Penn State, a stat that we're very, very proud of. And you look at the development really since we arrived. In 2016, we won the Big Ten championship, but we only had 1 guy drafted that year. So you look at the production and the development we've had in that area, and I'm very proud of what we've been able to do. That 1 guy was Chris Godwin. We added 8 guys from the portal this year. We're not a big portal team. We'll go out and make some moves and make some adjustments, to fill maybe a gap that we have in our program, very similar to maybe programs in the past used to use junior colleges. We're a developmental program. We embrace that, but we will go out and make moves in the portal where we need to. And we got 8 young men that we're excited about the impact that they're going to be able to make for us this year. As I enter my 12th year at Penn State, it remains a tremendous honor to lead this program and this remarkable fan base. Beaver Stadium will look a little bit different. I think you guys know we're in the middle of a stadium project that will not be done this year. We'll have another year that we're going to have to get through with that. But we expect Beaver Stadium to be rocking like it always is. I've been fortunate to have the opportunity to be a head coach for 15 years. 3 years in the SEC and the last 12 at Penn State. But I do think that experience, I think myself and Coach Bielema have similar experience there. I think that experience in both conferences has been really valuable for my time at Penn State. But appreciate this opportunity as always. Appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you and visit. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
All right, so there you have it. Again, that was James Franklin, head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions. Also didn't realize they're getting some stadium renovations done as well.
Yeah, no idea. That'll be pretty cool to see. I guess I just looked it up, and I guess they're getting a lot of more kind of private sections or, donor sections for the big money people. But yes. I guess after this, they'll have over 100,000 stadium capacity, so that'll be pretty cool.
It's crazy how much of it is now just like, is this for the stadium or is this for the donors?
Exactly. Yeah. The donors are like, we're not really happy with where we're sitting. Make it better for us. And it's like, here's a donation. They're like, what about the, students? I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. We got from Drumstick. His voice is very staccato, almost sounds like a robot. Yeah, he does. He is very monotone.
Was thinking the same thing.
He's not the most fiery guy. I mean, he's not PJ Fleck. He's not Matt Rule, where he's like a preacher with his words. But I mean, his speech is like his program. I mean, very consistent. You know what you're going to get. I'll ask you this right off the rip. Penn State, are they, some preseason polls, they got them at number 1. Are they the number 1 team in your mind?
I don't think so. I think looking at what they've been in the past, it's almost like I feel like there's other years where teams will be ranked number 1. It's just because like of the hype leading up to it. I feel like we see this a lot in basketball. I feel like maybe a team gets a lot of really good recruits or they have a few guys returning, but they didn't really do a whole bunch the year before. And I think this is kind of what Penn State is. They're a team that I think needs to prove a little bit before they earn that number 1 spot. But I don't think they're number 1, especially with, what Ohio State did last year. Why would you not have them there? Along with Texas or Georgia. I think those are teams that should be seen as number one just because
Mhm.
of, what they've done in recent years, while Penn State has still kind of struggled to get over that hump.
Yeah, I'd go Ohio State 1, Oregon 2, and
Mm-hmm.
you can make an argument for an SEC team being at that number 2 spot like Georgia, but Oregon went undefeated and they lost the national champion.
Yeah.
I understand continuity. You're what am I blanking on his name? Is it Moore, quarterback who's got to step up this year?
For Oregon?
Oregon,
Yeah,
yes.
it's Dante Moore.
Dante
yeah.
Moore, thank you. I was blanking on the first name. So Dante Moore, I mean, they must be super high on him because Oregon, I mean, they got the flash, they got Nike. If they want a new, fresh, brand new quarterback that's highly touted, they usually can make that work pretty easily. So the fact that they didn't, they're trusting Dante Moore. I'm willing to bet he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's a freshman. Like he's been there watching it on the sideline. So he's going to have some knowledge of that offense. But yeah, Drew Aller, that's the second part of that one. He's got the frame. He statistics wise, last season was his best season. Like again, so completions, 262 through 894 attempts. That's good for 66%. You can be generous, round up 67 completion rating. Threw for over 3,000 yards, 3,227, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, averaging about 207 yards a game. What's the ceiling on Drew Aller? Not just this season, but say he plays well this season. Where do you see him in the NFL? Because I think he's going to be a guy who maybe gets drafted too early in my mind. I really got to see how this season plays out with him because he's had some really good moments, but you have stretches where you're just not impressed.
Yeah. I think he's a guy that shines in those games that maybe don't mean a whole bunch, or not mean a whole bunch, but they're not the big time games. We'll see him, play a, Iowa, where I feel like he'll do really well, or a Purdue or a Northwestern. In those games, he shines. You're like, wow, this guy is a dude. And then last year, I just remember watching that Ohio State Penn State game, and he couldn't get much going. It seemed like, Ohio State had his number, and he just didn't feel comfortable. And so I think that's what I worry about. And same thing in that Notre Dame game. I feel like he wasn't extremely comfortable in the college football playoffs. And so I think he's a guy that when the moment gets really big, not that he struggles, but he just doesn't impress. And so I think that's something we're going to have to see a little bit of a difference out of him this year in those big games for Penn State to be that number one team.
Yeah, and I know we went through the schedule a little bit yesterday. It's I think pretty early to get Ohio State at the shoe.
Oregon, yes, Oregon.
Oh, it's Oregon.
Oregon,
first.
Yep. Oregon to open their conference play, and then November 1 at the shoe against Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean that's to their benefit. Like you get to prove it early.
Yeah.
At worst case scenario, you get to prove everyone what they always think about you. Like you're phenomenal regular season team, but you're good, not great.
Mm-hmm.
James Franklin, 12 years down there. Someone asked this earlier on the text line. Fair to call him like the Bo Pelini of Penn State?
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I think it's one of those guys where he's just always been good, been consistent, but never, great. And you kind of get the same thing year in and year out. And I think Penn State's looking for him. I think Penn State really thinks he's the guy. Like, if we're going to win a national championship, it's going to be with James Franklin. I don't think there's anyone else we're going to bring in here that's going to do it for us. So Bo Pelini, I think, is a great comparison. You're kind of satisfied. You're like, all right, we're winning, 9 games at least a year. We're doing well. But we're not getting anything more than that. So I think James Franklin has a lot to prove in that regard.
Yeah. For me, the question, and this is what I was talking about earlier, like what if you do that, what's your move after? Because we brought in Mike Riley, who was like career 500.
Yeah.
Connect the dots there. You just can't. Like
I think, yeah.
Personality, maybe. Is
100%.
that how what are your thoughts on like why did we go? And I hate doing this because I actually think Mike Riley's a great guy. Why do you think we brought in Mike Riley?
If I'll be honest, I think Husker fans were it was always 9-3, it felt like, and with Bo Pelini. And I think some people maybe didn't love his energy or just his vibe. Like, kind of seemed like a,
the personality.
Very hard nosed. And I think from there, I think a lot of Nebraska fans were like, this guy's going 9-3. We need to bring in a guy that's getting us 10-2 or 11-1, like maybe even going undefeated and getting us back. So I think people were like, we don't love his personality. Let's find someone that will just, be a little bit nicer and then get us to those 10 wins. Mike Riley coming from Oregon State, I'm not sure what the thought process was there. Just because, I mean, nothing against Oregon State, but it's not like they were dominating the pack by any means. Always decent, but never, no one ever looked at Mike Riley like, oh, this is our guy.
Well, he had a 3-win season like 3 years before we hired him.
Yeah.
There. And then I think his last one but when we hired him, he won 9.
Yeah.
Which again, it's like,
I think it was just polar opposite of Bo Pelini, like
Mhm.
extremely nice guy. Like when he talks to the press, talks to everyone, you're like, wow, this guy, he's super nice, like very genuine. Winning football games though wasn't his forte.
no, I always wonder like how many games did Bo Pelini watch, and then after it got to a point where he felt bad, like maybe he kind of
Yeah.
chuckled at first, like I know you guys don't like what I said, but hey,
At least I won.
this is where you're at.
Yeah.
Maybe I was more right than I was wrong. I could have said it in a nicer way, but I might have been right. Then it probably got to the point where he just felt bad. Like no one wanted to see that program. Even if you're not a Nebraska football fan, it's like, do I like Notre Dame? No, but football's better when Notre Dame's good.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with Georgia. Like Georgia stepping up has made the SEC. And Texas, I hate Texas. It's better when Texas is good.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, like it's good when the Blue Bloods are keeping up to that status quo. And obviously when Nebraska, would you call them a blue blood?
I think you still have to. I think it depends. If you just are saying who are the best, college football programs ever to
Mhm.
ever do it. I mean, 5 national championships, I think that does it. I think that puts you in the ranks of, being a blue blood, being one of those top teams. So I think so. If you say since 2000, no. But of all time, 100%.
Okay, I agree. I'm glad. I wasn't sure. Every now and then I'll meet, especially, well, you're not any younger than me, probably some younger people. And I can't really blame them because if they haven't looked at the history, you're like, of course not. Like we've stunk my life growing up. Why would we be a blue blood? But yeah, you look at those 90s and then even the Bob Devaney era, it's like we certainly still hold on to that. And if we can just get back to what I think the direction is and that we're finally doing is just at least competing, winning 6 games. But with that being said, wrapping up quickly on Penn State, Drew Aller, I forgot to ask you, like quarterback in the NFL, do you think he can be a legit threat NFL quarterback?
I think he gets drafted as a backup. I don't think there's a team that looks at Drew Aller and says, I think he's a good talent. I think he's great. I think he's maybe a better game manager than he is a guy that's going to, just astonish people. So I think he'll be drafted high. I want to say, maybe late first, early second. And I think he'll be a guy that's a good backup for a little bit. And if he, can prove himself, I think he could be really good. As of now, I don't think there's anything that really sets him apart from other quarterbacks in this draft class.
Yeah. And real quick, speaking of backups, this one, yeah, it breaks my heart because we've talked about it before. New York Jets, Justin Fields.
Crushing.
He's
just
hurt.
a toe. Not sure how bad it is, but it is a toe.
I mean, if it's anything like the Taylor Martinez turf toe, that's brutal. Like that thing really dragged on forever. Again, we don't know, but on the bright side of all this, I feel bad for Justin Fields. Adrian Martinez might have an opportunity
100%
to take over. Mm-hmm. Do you think? I mean, Adrian Martinez, he's had some moments where he's put it on tape where I think he can play at that NFL level. He just hasn't really gotten that opportunity. He's an older guy. That always kind of hurts you. Do you think Adrian Martinez can legitimately take over that spot? Or do you think if he does, it's just going to be a fill-in in the meantime?
I think right now it's a fill-in in the meantime, but like every quarterback that kind of, started as a backup or has, had to like prove himself, this is how it goes. I mean, they're not going to just hand you the reins because the top guy got hurt. And so I think if he shows up and first few games, he's like, oh, he's kind of producing. He doesn't look, terrified back there. He looks like he's managing the game well. Then, yeah, I mean, that's how most opportunities for these backups, come to be.
I'm super excited for it. Like I said, I feel bad for Field, but I hope Adrian Martinez, because it is pretty fascinating to see he goes to Kansas State. You're like, well, there goes, we ruined that one. But shout out to Adrian for being so cool about, the separation. Like he still shows a lot of love to Nebraska. So he's an easy guy to root for. And he reps Kansas State. He reps Nebraska. He doesn't leave us out of the mix. And to still kind of watch his story, like you might have thought at this point in time, maybe he's up playing in the Canadian Football League or putting it up for wraps. But was it with the Stallions?
He was with the Stallions, won at league MVP, I believe. Yeah.
League MVP with the Stallions. I think Tom Brady was actually the one to hand the trophy off, which was awesome. And now he's opened up some doors. And the one thing about Adrian is so far, he's been kicking these doors down that have opened for him.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that continues. Just another thing to keep an eye on. It wasn't where I wanted to go, but we're talking backup QBs. And maybe if Drew Aller gets drafted, that's kind of position. Just made me think of Adrian Martinez. Like we might get to watch more Adrian, get some NFL opportunities. With that being said, though, we are over the clock. Don't go anywhere. We still got 2 more segments of a different version of Old School. Harrison Arns, Tristan Gomez. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk to you guys on the other side.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
T.O. Double D, what's cracking?
I need your help, Snoop. I'm really sick, and I can't give up free chicken fingers on National Chicken Finger Day.
I got you. Yo, happy National Chicken Finger Day, homies and homegirls. Get you a free chicken finger with your Raising Cane's box combo on $7.27, you heard? Make it a perfect combo with a copy of my latest album, Is It a Crime? Streaming now. Happy National Chicken Finger Day to all, and to all a good bite.
Get one free chicken finger in each box combo. Purchased July 27th, 2025.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and digital insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and storms, especially this afternoon. Otherwise, probably sunny skies expected with the high around 85. Tonight, a chance of showers and storms, the low around 70. And tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms likely throughout the day. National high near 81. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tune in every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. for the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Sit back and enjoy listening to Dr. Chatters discuss real stories involving struggle, inspiration, and real-life experiences with special guests and insights. Remember, the higher the pressure, the greater the lift. It's the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
When only the best will do. Sartor Heyman Jewelers.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company.
We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Hey, I don't want to hate on Joe Burrow. He's clearly in this tier. I think he's the bottom of this tier. I would go Allen Jackson and then Burrow.
You should be a politician.
You know what I'm saying? You see what he did?
Yeah, he didn't have
He do it all the time to Stricky, man.
Keep going, Jay.
No,
You're speaking my language.
stop.
You're speaking my language. Come on.
You let him get you, Jay. I can't believe you let him get you again. God, dang.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. The second segment of Old School, new version of Old School, not the permanent version of Old School. Harrison Arns, Tristan Gomez taking over for this segment, and then one more after. And then, of course, Ticket Weeknight, 6 p.m. Give another hour of me and Tristan, and we might swing off college football a little bit for that hour, but that's going to be, for the most part, the focus of the rest of today. And where I want to start with, we'll go to the text line as we got a few in here from Drumstick. First one, if you don't want going back to, Vegas or Indianapolis, if you don't like it in Vegas, where would you move? The Big Ten Media Days. And he throws out Omaha as possible location.
I mean, it is right almost in the middle. I mean, like, you do please those West Coast schools, and then same thing for those farther East Coast with Penn State, Maryland, Rutgers. I know they would probably prefer Indiana, but I mean, Omaha is kind of just right in the middle of where the Big Ten is.
It feels perfect.
It feels perfect. It would be pretty cool. I'm not sure exactly where they're doing it. Maybe if they're just doing it at CHI downtown, but yeah, I don't think that would be bad at all. I think obviously Nebraska has a huge football fan base, but I think Indianapolis as well, like, has the Colts. Like, they have that football presence. Omaha, not as big, I want to say, as Indianapolis, and the football presence still would be a great spot, though.
Yeah, I would choose Omaha over Vegas.
100%.
I think, you probably have a really good turnout because, again, you just got a bunch of people in here where college football is their pro sports. There's no pro team around here. Everyone's, of course, I'm a Bears fan. You're a
Packers.
I choose. That's a selective memory right there. I tried not to remember that one. Packers fan, like, obviously you're going to be fans of other teams out there, but you're really, most of the people around here are super focused on the college football.
They're ready for Saturdays.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a home run to have it in Omaha. Would it be better than Indianapolis, though? I don't know. But like I said, I'd much rather try it in Omaha than Vegas, or just keep it in Indianapolis. Because, again, it's like Washington, Oregon, UCLA, USC. What's their closest Big Ten team that isn't from the former Pac-12? Nebraska.
Yeah.
And then even for a school like Rutgers, Vegas isn't a great trip for them. I mean, that's quite the jaunt. Nebraska's a little bit better.
Yeah.
And for all the other Big Ten teams, the original Big Ten teams, like, that's not a jaunt either. And Lincoln, pretty easy, or not Lincoln, Omaha, pretty easy to get around, navigate. Now, if it's for the player experience and that's part of what you're selling, well, okay, we can have a conversation about Omaha. But yeah, I'm not sure why they landed on Vegas. It does really feel like they catered to the Pac-12 schools a lot, or maybe there's just more money and the players wanted it, more exposure. But again, feels like there's a million things going on Vegas. It feels like you're just another thing, not the main focus. That's my rant on that. Also, talking a lot about PJ Fleck. This one from Drumstick here. It says PJ Fleck so underrated. Goes on to say, along the lines of rowing the boat, the oars. He wanted to ask as well. Sorry, I'm sorting through all these right now. So PJ Fleck, I think pretty much he's so underrated. Where are you at with PJ Fleck in terms of underrated, overrated, or just right?
I would say just right, maybe a little underrated. I think it's tough just because Minnesota isn't going to be one of those top dogs. I think it's a school that maybe some people see or in the past has kind of been in the lower end of the Big Ten. I think PJ Fleck has done a good job of giving them winning seasons and giving them a few really solid seasons. And so I think he's a good coach for where he's at. Could he maybe go somewhere else and maybe improve a little bit and take a next step? Yes, but I think at Minnesota right now it almost feels like he's hit his peak. Like there's not like I don't think in years to be we're going to see Minnesota competing with the Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Michigan. And so I think he does a great job for what he has, but I don't want to say he's extraordinary by any means.
No, I mean this in the nicest way possible. He was a good foundational block that I think he needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, whatever coach you want next it's a much more lucrative job. Now, you got the sticky process of when do you decide to move on to get somebody better, but I think PJ Fleck right now is as good as you're going to get. Thoughts on him talking about Nebraska? He does this every year, and I don't know if he's, tongue in cheek with it because he beats us every year, and he's like setting us up to be a juggernaut. We don't play Minnesota this year, though, correct?
I don't believe so.
I don't. I'll double check. I don't think we do. If we do, you guys can let us know on the text line 402-464-5685. But he goes out there and says Nebraska is one of the most dangerous teams in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. Not just talking about this upcoming season. Yes, he talks about that, but just highlighting the future of what Nebraska football can be. When PJ Fleck says that, and he's been pretty complimentary, especially since Matt Rule got here. Are you buying into what the coaches are saying about Nebraska? And with PJ Fleck, like really hyping up Nebraska when he could have been much more calm about it.
I like it. I think it just goes to show that there's a lot of teams, a lot of coaches around the Big Ten that have a respect for Nebraska to a point where I think it's what Nebraska fans expect is that they have the talent, they have the players, they have the fans to be a really good team. And it seems like Nebraska just shot themselves in the foot in quite a few games, especially when it comes to those one-score games. So I think that's the thing is with those other coaches in the Big Ten, giving Nebraska some praise, it's because they haven't really blown us out. It's because, they did kind of just squeak by with a one-score win most of the time. And so those are games that they always have to prepare for. So although, maybe Minnesota's beat us quite a few times in the past, they're like, it's never been like an easy game. So I think that's kind of why PJ Fleck was saying what he's saying and giving those compliments. And I think he's on par with just how Nebraska is. It's not an easy game, and you could go in there and easily lose. And if Nebraska doesn't have a few turnovers or make a few mistakes, then Nebraska probably beats them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that he recognizes.
Yeah, that's well said. And shout out MT Westy says we do play Minnesota after that Maryland game, which is correct. Double checked it. Yeah, so after Maryland. On the road to Minnesota, October 17th, going to be really cold, frigid, typically up there by that time of year. Doesn't take too long. Minnesota, and again, it's like, I think that's why PJ Fleck, to your point, is more respectful because he knows it's come down to a field goal. It's come down to an interception in the red zone. It's come down to bad special team. I mean, it's whatever you want it to be. They find a way to win. And even years where they're not supposed to. I always go back to that COVID year because it was one of the most humiliating losses I think Nebraska could have. It's like you're supposed to be the tougher physical team. I understand it's a new era with Scott Frost, but that's supposed to be the identity. Their entire offensive line goes out with COVID. He has the second stringers just bullying you guys around. And they're not playing with the wideouts. They're not playing, with the skill players. They're putting in jumbo sets despite, like that to me is a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And that's where you tip your cap. And so to the drumstick saying PJ Fleck underrated, I do think he's underrated in that measure where if he was an assistant coach, I think he would be phenomenal because he just has he seems to me like his best ability is just developing guys. Or if he was in a position with Matt Rule, like where Matt Rule kind of gets to have the CEO approach, like I think that's where PJ Fleck would thrive as well because he's just kind of the, high energy. You saw it there in Vegas right off the bat. Just really good at keeping the guys' heads up. So Minnesota, underrated, maybe not so much. I think he's just slightly underrated, but he's pretty close to where he should be. With that being said, you got any other teams? We only got a couple minutes left here. Any coaches on Big Ten Media Days? And then we'll quick play some more audio segments for the third segment. And then I want to talk to from 6 to 7 o'clock. I want to do a coach's hot seat, and not necessarily like a hot seat, but I'll break it down more in detail. So 3 minutes left here. Anything from Big Ten Media Days that you want to highlight before we throw it to break?
Sharon Moore for Michigan, hearing him talk. At first, I thought there was going to be a lot of, the suspension talk and the stealing signs scenario situation. Nobody asked. Yeah, it seemed like the media was extremely nice, which maybe they want to be on their good side just so when the season starts, they can kind of ask more questions. But a lot of it was, you lost Colston Loveland last year. Like, who's going to fill in for him? And the questions that people like, yes, they want to hear, but it seemed like we said before, just a lot of coach speak, like just set it on a plate for him. It was like, here you go, say what you want, sound like the greatest coach ever. And so I would have liked to hear a little bit more, what's really going into that and how he's responding to it, how the team is responding to it. He had a lot of high praise for Bryce Underwood. So I'm really curious to see how he does. Being a freshman quarterback in the Big Ten is not easy. We saw that with Raiola last year, Raiola, I think, did a great job, but you could tell there were a few instances where like he is a freshman. Like these are some scenarios he hasn't seen. So Michigan's a team that I'm curious and how Moore just handles that team this year.
Yeah, I'm super, super curious on how those guys fare out. And again, going on with the questions, it was interesting. Tony Petitti was really the only one that got hard questions because they were asking him, it's like, so how are you guys talking to the SEC? How do you feel about, like, he was getting some pretty hard hitting questions that actually deal with the future. But I was surprised by that as well. Sharon Moore, I hear you really like your wide receivers. Are they good this year? It's like, what do you expect the guy to say? Like, obviously, if you're going to highlight, hint that you heard good things about it, you want to talk about how good they are, like, you're going to get coach speak. And there is a room for that. But honestly, one of the less interesting, I think, Big Ten Media Days. PJ Fleck was interesting. Matt Rule, like, obviously I'm biased. I always think he's pretty interesting. But there was nothing really too shocking. And, maybe that's a compliment to the players as well, because the media training, they did very well. The craziest statements you heard was like, Dylan Royale, my goal is to win a national championship, which you would hope so.
You would hope so. Yeah, you would hope that he would say that. Another coach, back to PJ Fleck. What he's done in Minnesota, I don't think that Minnesota could get from a different coach. No. So I think you could say that PJ Fleck is underrated in that aspect, that he's built Minnesota up to a point where they are a solid team in the Big Ten. And I don't think there are many other coaches that could show up and do that. And I bet elsewhere in the Big Ten, maybe there's some other opportunities that are very similar to that. Like, the teams are good with what they have, because I'm not sure if anyone else is going to do better. But for that regard, I do think PJ Fleck is maybe a little underrated, and you can have high hopes for him at Minnesota.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think PJ Fleck maybe wanted out of Minnesota at the time. I think when that UCLA job was open with Deshaun Foster, obviously head coach right now, he took it last year. But I think that was one where PJ Fleck was maybe interested in. Like, Minnesota's a tough place to get players to go to.
It's cold,
especially in the era of NIL, where it's like, they're not paying me a lot, and I got to live up in Minnesota where it's freezing. If you're from Minnesota, you can deal with that. It's, if you're a California guy and you go to a visit, it's, not say they go visit the Nebraska game. It's October 17th and it's freezing. It's, Lincoln maybe is a little warmer. If Nebraska wins that game, it's a tough place to recruit. And what he's done, again, in terms of development, I think that's why it's slightly underrated. But I do think people are catching on. Like, Minnesota's a game you can't just skip over, and Wisconsin's learning that quite a bit. As 2 years in a row now that Minnesota taking the axe from them. So things are cooking in Minnesota. I don't know what the ceiling is, but we're in agreement there that PJ Fleck is right now the pretty much the only foundational piece that's keeping that thing together. If they got rid of him, I couldn't tell you what the future of Minnesota Gopher football looks like. But that being said, we do got to throw it to break. We'll get a little bit of Matt Rule, since we haven't talked very much Husker football at all. And real quick, we'll get Augie in here since he got in here just in time. PJ deserves more respect, but he should buy some socks, especially in Minnesota. Yeah, he does the interesting wardrobe decisions. All right, that's enough on PJ Fleck, Minnesota. We'll talk Husker football. We'll get some Matt Rule comments, and then we'll do some coaches rankings and somewhat a version of the hot seats from 6 to 7 o'clock. So don't go anywhere. Tristan Gomez, Harrison Arns, talk to you guys on the other side.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through July 29th are 15% off cheese and crackers, grass-fed, grass-finished tri-tips for $10.99, 820 ground beef trays for $6.99, and brisket flats for $9.99. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursdays at the Mercado East or Fired Up Fridays at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through July 27th, enjoy 8-ounce USDA choice boneless ribeye steaks for $9.99 each. All natural thick-cut bone and pork chops for $1.69 per pound. All variety of pork sausages, $2.99 per pound. And check out the meat bundle, 50 items for $50. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at StarterHeyman.com.
Starter Heyman Jewelers.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Tune in every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. for the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Sit back and enjoy listening to Dr. Chatters discuss real stories involving struggle, inspiration, and real-life experiences with special guests and insights. Remember, the higher the pressure, the greater the lift. It's the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends July 31st.
See Home Club for details.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball. Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Third and final segment of Old School. Again, slightly different version of it, not the permanent version. We got Tristan Gomez, Harrison Arns, one final segment here, and then we'll switch over to Ticket Weeknights with Harrison Arns and Tristan Gomez. And for that hour from 6 to 7, what I want to do is I'm not taking all the credit for this. Watching the Joel Klatt show, I like his show quite a bit. He had a segment I thought was pretty interesting. We won't do all the exact same coaches, but it's a coach's hot seat, more of a coach's index. So the rankings he has on him, just happy you're here. We like you, but trying to be patient. Is this going to work? And it's time. So that is the coaches index. We'll talk about that from 6 to 7. We'll talk a lot of Big Ten, maybe sneak in some SEC, ACC coaches. But in the meantime, Husker football, you're hearing a lot from Matt Rule and some of the other staff and even players that this is a player-led team. Are you in the mindset that all the coaches say the best teams are player-led teams?
I believe so. Yeah, I think every single time, gets to the end of the season, the teams that are having success, the coach is always saying, like, it wasn't us coaches that had to do everything. We didn't have to kind of hold everyone's hand, leading through this. They always say, there were guys on the team that really just led. And I think the biggest thing about player-led teams is it has to be everyone. It's not like there's just like 5 guys like, oh, they're the leaders, they tell us what to do. That's how it's a player-led team. It's like, it's the, third guy in the depth chart, like, can tell the guy that's starting, like, hey, you need to lock it in. Like, let's get this going. Let's work together right here. So if that's the case, I think it's very easy to see once the game shows up, once it's game time, if that is the case. But I mean, I love hearing that from Matt Rule.
Yeah, and I know it sounds like a softball question there, a little bit of what we heard at media days. But with that being said, I want to set the table. Here is Rule talking about being a player-led team. And I completely agree. Like, those guys are playing on the field. If those guys aren't leaders, you don't want to be looking at the sideline every time stuff hits the fan. So here's Matt Rule on it being a player-run program.
Well, I think each and every day, it's really our players. Players talk to players more than we can. I get up in front of the team. I speak. I think they listen. I try to have tremendous relationships. Our coaches are great. People in the building are great. But at the end of the day, the program moves forward when players are talking to players about the right things. When they take the program from Coach Rule's program to their program. And right now it's their program. We went to dinner last night with the fellas and they were kind of joking, like, Coach, you don't have to come tomorrow. We'll handle it for you, which I almost took them up on. But you could put Dylan, you could put Henry, you could put any of them up here. And I think we would all speak the same way because we believe in what we believe.
And that's what you love to hear. Mm-hmm. Again, you're probably not going to hear him say, yeah, right now the guys just aren't doing it at Big Ten Media Days. But you're also, if it wasn't true, you wouldn't hear him highlight it as much as he would. So I think there's definitely some truth to that. I don't think Matt Rule's ever really been too disingenuous. If he was wrong unintentionally. Like, he wasn't trying to lie through his teeth, or it felt like at times with Scott Frost, it's like, okay, I can see it in your eyes that you see the problems on this team. And it's a tough situation because if you're Frost, you don't want to throw players under the bus. And if you're Rule, you don't want to do it either. But lucky for Rule, you bring in Dana Holgerson last season, who's like, you guys aren't doing enough. Flat out. And because he's an outsider, he just went to the podium before he was really established and just super truthful about these guys aren't doing enough. I came in here, I'm looking at guys like Banks, Nayor. I'm like, how are you guys this big, this tall, and you can't get a block to save your life? And it's like, ugh. He calls that stuff out, and sure enough, those guys were a lot better the rest of the season. So there's always a little bit of that when you're trying to read the comments, and sometimes when you get an outsider coming in just assessing it, you're going to get the most honesty. But I do buy Matt Rule talking about the leadership on this team. as a fan, it feels like there's an actual identity for the first time in a long time. Again, going all the way back to Bo Pelini was the last time it really felt like we had an identity. Feels like we're finally approaching that again. And you can always track recruiting as well. If you're really struggling on landing big names, it's usually a sign that there isn't a ton of faith yet that your program's going to make that jump. So I know it's not the most loaded class, but we're bringing in bigger names, more 4 and 5 stars. The rest of it, we could talk about that a whole nother segment. What does it look like to fill that out? And especially if you're going the Clemson model, what James Franklin talked about model, where you don't want to rely on that transfer portal, how do those high school classes look like? But like I said, that's an entire another segment in itself. But that's going to do it for Old School. Appreciate everybody listening. I know it was a little bit different version than what you were used to, but appreciate it nonetheless. You guys can continue to text in. No Royals taking over on the brick and mortar. So 402-464-5685. Me and Tristan will go for another hour. And then, of course, we'll play some replays for you guys at the very least till 10 p.m. to keep you locked in to some local content. Appreciate you guys listening. This has been Old School. I'm Harris Starnes. That's Tristan Gomez. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a little bit.